welcome to Scundered. How are you? Good? I don't know why I've done that. My guest today is the wonderful Emer Maguire. And I think of Emer as a musical comedian. That's how primarily as I know her. But Emer, I've looked at your CV and it is bananas. Emer is, I'll just take a deep breath here, a science communicator, a BBC presenter, a 4-time TEDx speaker, a conference and event MC, a communications expert, and a qualified and practicing speech and language therapist. She does too much, she must be stopped. Please welcome Emer Maguire.
Thank you very much.
So that's, I'm great. You must be knackered.
Yeah, I'm not practicing speech therapist anymore.
No, of course.
So,
you would have been at one point.
So that's good. I had a gig yesterday and a very strange receptionist said to me, you know, did you have a real job before this comedy? And I said, yeah, I was a speech and language therapist. And she says, that's a good job, a very good job. And you left it to do this?
Yes.
And I was like, geez, all right.
So you're like, not a fan then, madam?
Absolutely.
How long ago was it since you were practicing?
Just a couple of years ago. Literally.
Nobody likes being asked when they actually went full time. They're like, who's asking?
Depends if it's HMRC
Tax
or
related,
who else
yes.
it is. No, a couple of years ago.
Right.
So I kind of decided, I was a speech therapist for maybe about 7 years.
Right.
And then I left during COVID.
Okay.
Because of course that's the time to leave your very secure
Yeah.
NHS job that
Yeah.
you've spent your life studying for.
Yeah.
And there's no gigs. So I kind of left during that time. So I went down first to 2 days a week. So I was kind of doing that. But maybe like 4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So I can really see you in that role. I'm not trying to convince you to stop. Could you stop doing comedy and give me your gigs and you go back to doing speech and language therapy? But I can see you doing that. There's something really, you have a lovely voice. Yeah, there's something very soothing about your voice as well that I can imagine puts people at ease. And
I don't think everyone would think that, but patients did say that to me.
Did they?
They said I had a lovely lilting voice.
Well, that's a bit creepy the way you did it there. But yeah.
Which is that time of then. But no, I actually loved working with. I worked half the time with kids and half the time with adults.
Yeah.
And I love kids, so I loved working with the kids. And then I was always very close to like my grandparents and one of my great aunts. So I have like a real affinity with older people. So I love doing that as well.
Yeah.
And then I moved into working in like neurology and neurosurgery, and it was kind of palliative care and stuff like that. I actually found it very difficult.
I'd say
emotionally.
So. Yeah.
And like, you know, that didn't really work then when I was like cracking jokes, you know, like trying out a bit, you know. It's like come on.
And not getting the reaction and be like, I'll work on it.
Absolutely not. I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna must do better. So it was it was really hard. And also I was still doing it during the start of COVID.
Oh my
God. So
like
I was still going to work. I know people were getting furlough and stuff, but I was still going to work and I was going to nursing homes, and outside before we went down, we were in our tunics and then we were putting on all our PPE and our, you know, our masks and our hair things and our beekeeper suit or hazmat suit and all this here and going in to see. And I just thought, these poor older people who are confused and I'm coming into them looking like somebody out of Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So that was the time for me that I was like, I don't think this is.
Yeah.
Plus I was horrendous at any of the stuff that wasn't patient related, so admin.
Okay. So comedy does suit you then? Just
comedy does, yeah. I have zero admin skills, organisational skills, all that. Not for me.
I actually wanted.
I was very weak.
When I was at school, I wanted to be a speech therapist. That was like on my radar, yeah. And I remember being told that, because I wasn't scientific, or I was terrible at science. But I remember being told that if I did one science at A level, I could do it. So I was going to do French, music and biology, and I couldn't. I was just so shit at science. I didn't do it in the end.
Me too.
But it's because my brother Peter had speech therapy for most of his life. When he was a kid, he was born with a cleft lip and palate.
Oh, so of course.
And so he was really, and we just thought his speech therapist was just lovely, like the nicest person. And so that was really, because that was always in our orbit, you know, like that sort of,
you had the
exposure to that.
Absolutely.
I just thought it was the greatest job. But I do, like, it was really funny because his speech developed eventually, obviously, but with challenges and things like that. But there was one Christmas, we went to Christmas Day Mass, and we were just always trying to, you know, encourage Peter to, you know, use your voice, Peter, speak up. And this was a long time ago, so his present from Santa that year was an inflatable Mr. Blobby. Remember Mr. Blobby? You're
absolutely.
too young. So he had a
big pink
life
thing.
size.
Yeah.
He had a life size Mr. Blobby, and it was inflated for Christmas morning, and so it went to Christmas Day Mass with us, and we walked in.
Sorry, the Mr. Blobby went to Christmas Day Mass.
Yes.
Full human size.
It was about Peter's size, so it was about kid size, but it looked like a child. It looked like another child in the
Dressed
family.
up,
We walked in with him. Peter was holding his hand, and he sat with us on Christmas Day, right? And I don't know if you know much about Mass, people, but whenever the priest says things and the congregation respond, people would be sort of like, amen, and you would just hear Peter go, blobby, blobby, blobby.
At least he was talking.
We were all like, well done.
Good man, Peter.
Good man.
Very good.
Really well enunciated. By the end of Mass, Mr. Blobby was crowd surfing. Like people were passing him down to the front and up again. So we were like, that speech therapist has done wonders.
That's
Brilliant.
amazing. You loved bringing your toys to Mass on Christmas morning.
I know.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
It was like showing off for the Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Look at I got.
Mr. Blobby was hard to beat after that. I think we were like, I'll just leave my wee Sony Walkman at home.
That's class. I didn't know your brother had a cleft palate.
Yes.
There's so many areas in speech therapy that people don't actually really realise that you work with. Like, because when I left speech therapy, I was actually a swallowing therapist. Which sounds,
okay. Keep it clean now, Emer.
Anybody needs any help? And ironically, obviously, I'm gay, so I was like, I wouldn't be sure about. I've no experience myself.
I don't have to do this.
No.
So what? So do tell. What is a swallowing therapist?
I was a swallowing therapist. So people think, if you're a speech therapist, you kind of, you have a lisp, I'll fix that.
Yeah.
You have a stammer, I'll fix that. But a huge part of the job, like in my opinion, more than communication, is swallowing.
Right.
So do you know, whenever people, basically we would, in speech therapy, we'd say we're basically here up. So your communication, but also your
any
eating
other
and
issue.
drinking.
Yeah.
So obviously hearing impairment, cleft palate, all that kind of thing. But if people have something like a stroke or a brain injury or anything, or severe learning disability, whatever, that affects their swallow, those are the muscles you work on. If you're a speech therapist, or that's the part of the body you work on.
Right.
So loads and loads of speech therapists actually are swallowing therapists. So my job really was, say, to go out to nursing homes, or when I was in the hospital, go and see patients who had a swallowing problem because of their condition.
Yeah.
Whether it was dementia or a brain tumour or MND or whatever, Parkinson's, whatever it might be. And then I would work with them to make sure they were able to eat and drink safely, whether that was changing their diet, putting the thickener in their drinks and stuff.
Right.
So that's why, or putting them on puree diet, or else talking about were they maybe not safe to eat and drink at all? Should they have a peg? So that's what my job was, and that's what a lot of our jobs is, and people don't.
No, you would never
nobody
think that.
knows that.
No.
So if you have a stroke and your muscles are affected for your speech, obviously they can be affected for your swallow as well. So what happens then? Do you ever hear people and they say, oh, they got pneumonia and they died, if they had dementia or something, and people think, oh, they must have caught a cold, or I must have left the window open and there was a wee breeze. But a lot of times what's happening is the food, your swallow doesn't work, so instead of going into your tummy, your swallow doesn't push it in.
The food in the right place.
Instead of going into your tummy, it goes down into your throat.
Right.
And then down into your lungs, and it causes an infection, gives you chest infection, then gives you pneumonia. So loads of older people in nursing homes, if they have chest infections, pneumonia, fluid on the lungs, it's because their swallow doesn't work. Yeah.
Oh my God. So that's what I should be. I shouldn't be doing outdoor boot camps. I need to be working on my
your swallow. You may be saying to Fraser, we need to work on this.
I'll let him know.
Do you spit or swallow? Neither, actually. I need a bit of help with that.
Emer's coming around just to give us a hand.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, that was really what I was doing. So watching people eating.
Yeah.
Going out at their meal times. So, have a wee drink for me.
How were you funny whenever? Have you ever been funny?
No,
would
still not.
Would you have been sort of like joking around with patients and things
not
like that, or did you keep it
not if they were
professional?
Unconscious, but if they were
not if they were unconscious. I don't let that stop me.
Like, hey, no laughs. But if they were a bit of crack, and also you're kind of going out to I was kind of going out to people when they were at a very difficult time in their life. Maybe they just had a really bad diagnosis or traumatic thing happen to them. So I definitely was a bit of crack, and the patients would have said to me like, oh, like, we love when you come out because you really like light us up and you're so funny and this kind of thing. And and like patients would have written cards to me to say like this was one of the worst times of our life, and you really lit up our day. You know, she was so funny. And so I definitely was, but it's probably because that's my, like you'll be the same being a comedian. That's my way to make people feel comfortable and to connect with them. You know, because I don't want to go out with someone who's palliative or someone who's whatever and just be like. Obviously, there's a time and a place to be serious and to be sensitive and things, but I think there's no harm in trying to raise somebody's spirits.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely would have been a bit of crack. Because that's what I would have wanted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like any patients who were kind of at the level where they were able to communicate and understand that would have commented and been like, I'm always happy to see you coming.
Aww.
And I'm like, that's great because I'm not actually a very good speech therapist, but I'm a good cracker. I'm nice.
Also, I quit.
See you later.
Yeah, just buy tickets to my show.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
So, where does when did the music sort of, has that always been something in your wheelhouse? That's always been something that you've done?
Yeah, like
guitar or piano or both? Piano was your first?
Yeah. Nowhere near the level of your piano, but you're like, well, I'm a Gibson.
Sure, I agree. Yeah.
So whenever I was a kid, I loved music. I was obsessed with music, but also I was very antisocial.
Yeah.
So all I wanted to do was sit in the house and make up songs and whatever and not go out. So I remember my big sister starting piano lessons, and I was like, why is she getting to start piano lessons? She has no talent. She has no interest.
This was the light-hearted Emer we're talking about.
And I was fuming. Now I was very young. I was maybe 6 or something.
Okay.
And I was just raging, and I begged and begged and begged my mum to let me go. And she said that, you know, he doesn't take kids until they're whatever age. I don't know if they were 8 or whatever. But then she went and begged the guy, could I go? So then I think when I was about 7, I started.
Right.
And I just loved it. Now I didn't like learning. I didn't practice. I didn't like any of the pieces we were playing. But I just loved going on my own and playing stuff. And even though like I did my grades and all, but I couldn't read music. I don't know if that's related to having the autism, but I've never been able to read music. So for my grades and stuff that my teacher would have played,
you were learning by ear. And
I was learning by ear, so I would
things.
listen and then play. And I remember going in, you go into your grades with the books. Like I would go in with my book and I would just go and put the book in the thing and not open it and just play it. You know? Like they were like, what's wrong with this child? So I was always automatically drawn to music.
Yeah.
Really loved it. And then whenever I was like confirmation age, I think, I always wanted a guitar, but they were really expensive. And my mum had a couple of old guitars lying around. She could play a few chords. And I was always like messing about in them, like doing wee tunes, but I didn't actually know how to play. And then the boy across the street got a guitar and I was like, I really want one. So then my confirmation, I used all the money and went to Argos and got the crappiest, tackiest purple electric guitar.
You went straight for an electric guitar?
Well, because I was obviously a really
cool
11-year-old.
Your confirmation money.
I was like, the girls will love this. So I went and got that. And then I just started teaching myself and learning. And then my mum was like, oh, there's a guy up the road. He could teach you a few chords. So I went to him. And I just was obsessed. But see, from the age of about 5, I was writing songs.
Oh, were you? Right,
I was writing songs. I was writing pieces. I was writing group songs.
And were they were they like serious, heartfelt? This is my
me,
experience.
yes.
As when I was younger, I was writing like I thought I was Tori Amos. That's who I thought I was for many years.
That was me as a teenager.
Yes.
You'd think I'd seen it all.
Yeah,
I'd been through every trauma, and I had not left my 4 walls. And I just thought, this life is torture, and I will put it into music. But whenever I was about 5, I probably would have thought the same. So I decided that I was going to make a band from people in the street. It's going to be me and my sister and 2 other girls in the street, and I wrote parts for all of them and, you know, choreographed it and all. And I decided we were going to be called the Red Devils because I loved Man United. And then I told them and pitched the idea, and they were like, no. So I changed the name to the Cool Kids because I thought, you know...
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
I
was only about 5.
Read the subtext there. Was this a band with instruments or like a dancey pop band? Like
a dancey pop band.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
So I wrote songs. So one of the songs I composed was called I've Never Met You. And it was, I've never met you, I've waited so long. I've never seen you. I've even seen King Kong. Whatever that means. I don't know. I don't even know. But I was about 5. And then I wrote a song. It was my sister's birthdays just before Valentine's Day. So she was having a party. And of course, me being so antisocial, I during the party went into a separate room and was composing. And again, primary school. And I wrote a song about Valentine's Day. And I was trying to get people to leave her party to come and audition and join
Like
the band.
Yeah, singing outside.
And the chorus was like, I remember all the songs I wrote, and the chorus was, will you be my Valentine if you promise to be mine? I know we are only kids. And I struggled to get kids to rhyme with something, but the line was, you can help me take off my ice cream lids. So I thought, it's kind of innocent.
I actually think that's really cute.
It is cute, and it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's
It's
glimmer
not
of
bad.
things to come.
So that was all I did. I spent all my time writing these ridiculous, stupid songs.
But you
that
didn't
make
think they were
sense.
stupid at the time. I bet you were just
I
like,
thought
this is,
I was like, I'm going to win a Grammy.
get an album. Yeah.
I actually think I'm Neil Diamond.
I think
That's what I
as a
thought.
child, I'm Neil Diamond. When I was 9, right, so my brother Peter, who I've already mentioned, was born when I was 9. And
It's a big gap.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember it all. But I wrote a song about, this was my first song. I wrote a
being
song
born?
about him being born, right? And I said to my mum, can I perform it at the christening? She went, that would be lovely.
Did she? You have a very good mother.
Yeah,
My
not at
dad would
the-
be absolutely not. You're not coming to the christening.
No, not the actual church, in the house afterwards. We were just, I wasn't like on the altar, like going, ice cream lids, Valentine. So I composed it over, Heart and Soul. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
yes.
dun, right. So that
I
was
never
the
knew that's
chord
what that was
sequence.
called.
Yeah, that was the chord sequence, and I wrote the melody. And I didn't concern myself with rhyming things or indeed having the same tune throughout.
You just told a story.
It was just me rambling on, right? And I was like, he hates it to this day. Peter is now 30. God, I'm terrible at remembering. Hates this song. But towards the end of it, you could tell I was running out of ideas for a melody. So it started off quite cute, all sort of like, there is a little baby boy called Peter. He loves to suck. That was the first line. Right? And everyone was like, pardon me. So because he was a wee baby and he used to like suck his finger. My mum was like, I don't think that really makes sense. Take that bit out. So then then there's
You're
the
like,
part.
I'm being censored.
And then I get into like just nothing but actual details of the day he was born. So I was like, at 12 o'clock, the doorbell rang. We hoped it was Daddy. He came in with the great news. Your mum has had a baby. And it just went on like this. And then
There have been complications. Your mother's not coming home.
it was like, she asked me, was it a boy or no, we asked him, was it a boy or girl? He said it was a boy. Well, that's a genius. It went on and on like that. And then it got to another part where I said, it was a holy day, but we didn't get to mass. My mum was like, take that one out. That one's not going out for the live. So by the time I played it at the christening, there's about 4 lines left. This is me going, his name's Peter. Welcome.
I had a baby brother. That's it. Stop. That's it. That's enough.
The rest of it's too hot for TV.
Did your mum? Did your parents do that thing that parents of talented children? My parents never did this.
Talented
but
children?
Talented children, where they were like, perform for my friends.
Oh, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. Oh, we all had to do that. Like, because they would have had parties like in the house. I remember being woken up out of bed at like 2 a.m. going, come on downstairs and do a wee turn, do a wee song.
That never happened to us. It was
Oh,
the
really?
opposite. It was like that. We're just
Shut
going
up,
to
Emer.
close the door to that room. That's just Emer. She's not. You know. So, and I always thought it was so weird when I saw like movies now and they'd be like, come on, Sarah, come and play a tune for the group. And I'd be like, would you like me to play? They're like, no.
I wish that was me. Oh, no, we did.
But you were a musical family, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, my dad would have been leading a sing song with all his friends anyway, so it wouldn't have been unusual. Like it would have
Yes.
been. I can imagine if they weren't a musical family, it wouldn't have been.
My
so
dad
much.
is not. My mum is musical, but my dad is not in the. Like I actually think my dad doesn't like music, which is very strange. But like he is not. Like he is not.
No
at all.
music whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
That's really weird.
I think it's weird too.
You know, yeah,
I
that is
think
strange.
it's weird
Not,
too.
not even like most styles accept this, but to just
no,
not like.
I just have the feeling that he just doesn't like music.
But do you get that with people who are like, oh, I don't really like comedy. I just don't. I don't like
Teresa,
to laugh.
I don't like comedy.
Oh, well, what do you mean you don't like comedy?
Well, I fell into comedy. I was never in the slightest interest in comedy. I don't like comedy movies. I don't like comedy shows. I think I have an extremely high threshold for what makes me laugh.
Okay.
And I also think, like, I generally don't laugh out loud, like, if I'm watching something. And I think this is, like, I read this thing once that you laugh out loud when you're watching something as a social experience to show other people that you find it funny.
Right.
So I now am like, do I not laugh out loud because I'm autistic and I don't
Perhaps.
care what other people around me think that I think of it? Whereas I will enjoy things. I'll be like, and my friends will always say to me, they'll take the hand, because if I find something funny, I go, very good.
Yeah.
But I don't
like
actually.
an American.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Very good.
Yeah. No, I suppose that's probably true, but I find there's kind of two different. There is that sort of laughter where I'm sort of like, I agree and I support you and everything. But sometimes there are things that make me laugh that are so involuntary. Do you know what I mean? It's like a sneeze or something.
I'm
You're
way
just
more
like,
likely to do that if, like, you're one-on-one having a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
Or, like, if I'm with my siblings or my family, I will laugh and laugh and laugh, but never watches. Like, I love Modern Family.
Yeah.
I love Schitt's Creek. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah.
And I will sit and I will be thinking,
nod.
this is so funny.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. But I won't actually laugh, even though I think it's hilarious.
Yes.
Which is weird. And I guess I just never was really in groups of people who were into comedy or who liked comedy or like, I think maybe because I was a speech therapy, maybe all my friends were quite serious, or maybe they were all, do you know what I mean? So
all just talking about swallowing and
exactly, all the time.
So that must have been, so when you got into comedy then, and I've heard you talk about this before, that it was sort of accidental almost, that you were like, oh, people are laughing. Do you now look or go and see comedy or listen more to comedy than you might have been before? Or are you just like, I'm doing my thing, not really arse what everybody else is doing anyway? Or
well, it's more, like, I think I'm definitely exposed way more to comedy than I would have been had I not
sort
gone
of
into
against
comedy.
your will.
Yeah. It's like exposure therapy.
Yeah.
But I definitely, and I see comedy because I'm at gigs doing comedy. But if I wasn't,
you wouldn't go.
I wouldn't go. But I also think that is because, like, it's not, even though I'm obsessed with music and I love festivals and stuff, it's not my natural inclination to go to gigs or to go out and do social things.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I wouldn't go out to a comedy night or whatever if I wasn't a comedian, because to me, I'd be like, but I don't want to go out and I don't want to be in a group and watch whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I do think that's more common now anyway. People are less likely to, they're consuming it online or watching it in their own, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, there are ones, like, people always say to me, like, oh, who are your comedy inspirations? And then I'm always like, well, I don't really have any because I didn't mean to do this.
I didn't mean to do this. Stop coming to see me, everyone. Stop it.
But, like, I love doing shows. I love doing comedy. But, like, whenever people ask me the inspirations, I'm like, well, I don't have any, because but, like, when I was younger, I did love watching Tim Minchin and I loved watching Bo Burnham. Maybe less now because Bo Burnham's style is very different, but when I first came across him, I thought, oh, he's a genius. And, like, at those times, I hadn't thought anything about doing comedy, but I definitely enjoyed them. But I think a big part of it was the music and the songwriting. And so any comedy that I have ever enjoyed, the reason I like it is because I'm like, the language is so intelligent.
Yeah.
It's so smart.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many different styles of comedy that anything that is maybe just not to my taste, I don't like. But I think maybe my taste is a bit niche. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And I think that, like, in the sort of the cleverness of something, whenever it's
hard
in
to
a
get
song,
that.
it is hard. And that is the comedy, even though it might not always be laugh out loud. It's the same as a well written joke in a way. So no, I do know what you mean. I see, I feel old now. You're like, when I was young watching Tim Minchin. Well, I was not young watching Tim Minchin, but no, I do know what you mean. The first sort of musical, well, obviously there's Victoria Wood, who's like a given. She's brilliant. But it was Flight of the Conchords for me when I first started seeing clips of them, and I really was. That cracked me up. But they were such good musicians as well.
Yeah, I
like
think
their
that makes a
songs are
difference.
so good. Like, I went to see them. I've been to see them live twice, and even if they weren't funny, I'd enjoy them just because of how good they are.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of, like, musical comedians I like.
They are very good and they're very quick. I think it's just, not everybody likes all comedy, and anything. I think maybe when I was younger, and you would have been seeing if there was comedy on TV and stuff, like to me it would have been maybe more slapstick or maybe more like a boy's sense of humor, or maybe just not my sense of humor.
Yeah.
So I probably thought, oh,
It's not for
things that
me.
it's not for me. And actually, funnily, at my shows, there are a lot of women, and there will be guys when the girls bring them, or maybe gay guys, or husbands and boyfriends, whatever. And the husbands and boyfriends are always like, I wasn't expecting that. That was really good. I thought you were gonna be shit because you're a girl.
Yeah.
And like, but whenever the girls are there, they will say to me, "Do you know I don't like comedy, and I love your stuff."
Right.
And I'm like,
so there's this untapped
yes,
group of people because
and they're like, I don't like comedy. I don't go to other comedians. I just love your stuff, but I don't like comedy. But I love your stuff. And I'm like, that's me. I'm like, I don't like comedy, but I like my stuff.
So how did your audience find you then, do you think? So I'm just interested, because if that's a sort of, there's always, I think there are just audiences out there waiting to be found. Like you're saying, it's sort of quite niche in a way. Did you find, like, how do you think they find you?
I don't know, because my audience, I'm
asking for a friend.
Did you get an audience? They are mixed, but say I did a show there on Sunday night, and a lot of times my audience are like majority women, first of all.
Yeah.
Who don't like specific other types of comedy, who like mine. People will stay behind, say to me, I love that you're not crude. And I mean, like, I love that you don't really swear, but I do swear. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's not the point of a joke, or it's not whatever. Or people will say to me, like, it will be a lot of women who are maybe like middle-aged. And they will always say, I love your stuff, and my daughter loves it, and my mum loves it. And I'm like, well, that's good, because it's kind of, you can kind of bring anybody, and nobody's going to be offended, and nobody's going to be whatever.
Yeah.
And then people will say, oh, I love it because of the music. Yeah. So I think it's just people who maybe aren't into going to see stand-up comedy for an hour where it's a particular style, and they're surprised. They've seen me online, they maybe like the songs, or they maybe...
Yes.
So people will see me online, but then I do loads of stuff. Like yesterday, I was doing a set at a college. Like today, I do loads of stuff out and about.
Yeah.
Or I do lots. In like the autism world, I do loads of stuff. So people see me. So people generally, or people see me at a conference.
Yes.
So I do loads of hosting conferences, loads of awards and stuff. So then that's probably, they are all different audiences than we go to a standard comedy club.
So in a way, you're not chasing after an audience that somebody else would go to. You're just doing what's authentically you.
Yes.
And doing the stuff you're interested in, and then by nature of that, the people who are also interested in that are
because
finding you.
Always think, like I've always thought, if you're a comedian, I thought the majority of people who are comedians have possibly grown up being the person who is maybe the centre of attention, at birthday parties, maybe big.
Some of us might have been. Some of us wanted
big
to
personalities.
Be. Yeah.
Always wanted to be funny. Always tried to be funny. And to me, that is a very different sense of humour to someone like me who fell into it accidentally, who happened, like for me, the skill for me is writing and being good at language. And I, when I was wee and I wasn't talking and communicating with people and having friends, I always was good at writing. I'm better at writing than other things. So for me, my skill is in that. And I think I just happen to be, people say to me, you're just naturally funny, but I don't try to be funny.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people like me, if they're autistic or whatever, like I found it really hard to connect with people, but I learned when I was really young that if I said things that were, if I didn't understand things, or I said things and I was just being honest, people found it really funny, and then people liked me because I was funny.
Yeah.
So then I just kind of started being myself. And I think people who come to mind, like you said there about being authentic, like they'll say to me, like, you're so authentic, you're so relatable, like you're not trying. And like, I'm not trying to be, I'm writing a song that I enjoy writing.
Yeah.
And that I think, oh, this would make me laugh.
Yes.
So then when I'm playing it, like, I think I have a good sense of humour, so other people then laugh. So I'm not writing for other people.
No, but that is a superpower right there, because that's what I think a lot of people get very much in their head about.
Yeah.
And you can get really easily distracted. I've talked about this before with other comedians as well, about trying to write for yourself
Yeah.
rather than an audience, like a perceived group of people that
Yeah.
you don't even know going, this is what I've seen other people laugh at,
Yeah.
so I better do something around that. And I have fallen victim to that. I have
Mm-hmm.
tried, and it's so obvious I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's not really what I think. So I'm always having to sort of try and interrupt my own thought process
Yeah.
and go, do you actually think that's funny? Are you like, who are you trying to kid? You know?
I think you just have to try and be yourself and like trust that you are funny and be like, oh, if this makes me laugh, it's gonna make other people who are like me laugh.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it is I genuinely don't try and aim things at anybody apart from myself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like the other day I was it always stuck with me. Do you remember the time I did my Ulster Hall show?
Mm-hmm.
And you were at my Ulster Hall show playing as well. And I remember you, it was my first big show, and you saying like, oh, and you've new songs and all. And I says, yeah, like they're all new songs. And I always remember you saying, and have you tried them out on it? Have you played them for anybody? And I was like, no. Why? And you were like, oh, I could never do that. I mean, I would need to have tried. And I was like, what?
You're
just before I went on stage,
But
first big show.
all the very best, Emer. I hope
You were
it
like,
goes well.
I would never do it, but good luck. And that always stuck with me because I thought then, why don't I play songs for, but it's because like I trust myself. Do you know what I mean? And even the other day, occasionally I'll play songs for my best friend just because she wants to hear them. So first show in Bangor on Sunday night of this new tour I'm doing, and my best friend was over and she says, oh God, let me hear your songs. And I was like, right, okay. So she's probably the only person I'm not embarrassed playing them in front of because I am, even though I'm a comedian, I'm shy. I feel really embarrassed playing for one person.
Me too. Oh, 100%.
It is mortifying.
You might as well be like, here's my diary.
Exactly.
I'll just read it out to you.
It's mortifying. And you can't perform properly, but I can do it okay in front of her. So I was playing them. She was like, love it. Brilliant. Like laughing. And then I played one called Family Group Chat. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't perform it because I was embarrassed. And then after she was like, I'm not sure on that one. And I says, okay, well, I'll maybe not play that one then. And then the day before the gig, I was like, I played it again and I was like, she's wrong. Mm-hmm. She's not right about that song. And I would take what my best friend says like very seriously because she's probably the only person who would be constructive and be honest.
Yeah.
So other people would be like, oh, you're brilliant. Or your family would be like, oh, you're shite. Mm-hmm. But you know, your female best friend will tell you the truth. But I was like, do you know what? I'm going to make an executive decision because I think she's wrong. And I am not at all like, some people I think their ego would be hurt or something. I am not like that at all. I would be like, I understand what you're saying. I need to leave that aside, make it better or whatever. So I went to the show and I was like, yeah, I'm going to play this song. I have a feeling for some reason that it's going to work. And it was the best song of the night. It was the song that everyone was come up to me after being like, that song was brilliant. She came up to me and was like, I was wrong. She says it was different in a room. And you were able to perform.
And you were performing it the way it was meant to be performed.
And I was like, I said there, I know sometimes you just have to trust myself,
trust your gut
that I know, and she was like, absolutely, like that was the song, and it was the song that people were coming up and quoting things out of and saying that's my family and that's my family. And I was like, I'm glad I listened because what I could have done is just put that song in the bin and never played it again.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And that's, you know yourself, you write a song, you write an intro to it, that's a big piece of material.
Yeah.
And I would have just thrown that out if I had to listen to someone else, even someone who I really, really trust. So sometimes you have to just listen to yourself.
I think that's probably what I meant in terms of like, I can't believe you're about to go on to your Ulster Hall gig with songs you've never tried before, because I
hadn't even tried them for friends or anything.
Yeah, no. I think that's where I'm like, I still, even if I think it's really funny, I still need to try it in front of a group of people before I'm happy with it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's all I meant. I was like, well, you know, but I mean, fair play to you. Fair play.
I was like, well, it's too late now,
You're
Teresa.
doing like a work in progress in the Ulster Hall.
Because see, whenever people say like we're doing a work in progress, I always see people posting them in Edinburgh doing a work in progress. I was like, what's a work in progress?
What's the point?
Oh, but I was like, what actually is it? I either do a show or don't do a show. Do you know?
Well, great, good for you, Emer. The rest of us have to work at it. No, I guess
but
it's just,
to me, every show is a show and every show's a work in progress.
Yes,
you'll come away and say not. But I would not go and do a show that I didn't think was 100% so. I wouldn't do a show that I felt like it was a work in progress.
Yeah,
you know, my show that I did there in Bangor on Sunday night. I mean, I'm sure technically that was a work in progress because it was all new songs, and I wrote about 6 of them the day before. Do you know what I mean? And I'd never played them, and I didn't have tunes for them when I went up on the stage. But to me, I'm like, How's that a work in progress?
I've done it a few times. I did it before I did the Fringe, and a lot of it came down to trying to get like the timing right. So like when the
Yes.
Fringe, when you have to have it like to the minute, like 55 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll always fluctuate a wee bit depending on how the night's going. But I think for stuff like that, I've done it before where I'm sort of like, right, this needs to be exactly 55 minutes, and you can never really judge that until you've done it. And I feel like I'm having to defend work. We all have to do it for some reason. We're not geniuses.
Absolutely not. It's probably that's probably me being very black and white and not understanding with the difference between a work in progress and a show, because to me, a show's a show.
Yeah.
But like even like the timings and stuff, I understand that. But I just do. I'm like, well, a song's about 3 minutes. So 3 multiplied by, if it's 55 minutes, divided by 3. And then actually a song plus a story is probably 7 minutes. So, so that's just how I do it.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be working. Keep doing it.
It seems to be.
I'm gonna read you an embarrassing story. Now we need to talk about embarrassing stories.
I love embarrassing stories.
The purpose of this podcast. So to get us started here, I have asked people to submit to me their embarrassing stories.
They're embarrassing. I've asked people to submit to me.
I do that anyway.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to read you the beginning of this story. I'm going to ask you to guess. You don't have to come up with something hilarious if you don't want to.
I'll not.
But
it'll be my work in progress.
But I want you. This is a work in progress. This whole podcast is. So what do you think happens next to make this an embarrassing story? Right. So this is a story from Nuala.
Is this a listener?
This is a listener.
Hello, Nuala.
I know Nuala very well. This is my sister.
Is it your sister?
Yes,
I was going to say, is this a family member?
No,
you didn't
it
even
is.
give her a pseudonym?
It is. No, I've given up trying to give people pseudonyms. I've done it before, and I would have changed her name to like Fanula. So I might as well just say it's Nuala, but she doesn't mind me using her story, I hope. So anyway, this is one of my favourite embarrassing stories ever. Like I wish I could tell people this was me, because it just makes me laugh. Right. Back in 2021, I was meeting a builder at a garden centre to browse paving stone options for my garden. It's very middle class.
Yes.
Because this was in the middle of COVID, most sensible people were still being very cautious. Okay. So there was Nuala. I'll do it in the first person. So there I was, waiting at the front entrance, and I saw him approach. He said, hello, and he held out his elbow towards me, obviously waiting for me to do the polite elbow bump greeting that was common during COVID. So what happened next to make this an embarrassing story? Bearing in mind, this is my sister, so she's not going to do anything normal.
Well, first of all, I thought when she said meeting a builder, I thought it was a date. So this was a purely professional meeting.
Yeah. So they were coming to look at stone. They were browsing paving stones. And he said, meet me at the garden centre and we'll go and look.
Did she, I have two options. Mm-hmm. Did she either kiss his elbow or shake his elbow like a hand? Is it either one of those?
No, but
that's what I would do.
I love the idea of her giving it a wee gentle kiss. No, so this happened, and I just love her for it. So he put out his elbow, and she thought because he was an older gentleman, he was politely offering her his arm so that he could escort me around the centre like a traditional Victorian gentleman.
Oh my God.
So she replied, oh, how lovely, and linked her arm into the crook of his arm. She realised her mistake almost immediately, but for some reason
she had to keep going.
It would be more embarrassing to admit it, so instead committed to it, and they stayed like that for the entire visit round the garden centre.
Oh my
Linked
God.
together, arm in arm, going around the garden centre for what felt like the longest shopping trip of her life.
That is hilarious. Oh my God. I just
love it. He went like this and she went, oh, how lovely, and linked arms.
How wonderful.
And this builder's like, I'm stuck with this woman.
And did he just walk around?
And he just walked, because he must have been thinking,
what could you do?
There's something wrong with her. I don't want to offend her. So two people not wanting to embarrass each other, walking around with linked arms.
That is so funny.
Oh my God. Take a stroll around the garden, my love.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Shall we take a turn about the room?
That is brilliant. I love that.
Isn't that
so
your
funny?
First
sister.
Oh, she's hilarious.
I think I would have just continued as well.
I know, rather than...
I would have just not drawn attention. I would have been like, we're married now. we're together.
Never letting go. Just like, you have to come home with me now.
I
like to
Oh
think
my
I would have laughed and gone, oh my God, look what I will very quickly point out what an idiot I am to people at
Will you?
any given. Yeah, I'll be like, oh my God, what did I just do? But my sister Nuala is so, like, Nuala bangs into tables and apologises to them.
Yes, I would be like that
she's
too.
so polite. She would have just been like, oh God, it'd be too embarrassing now. But I
would
love
be
that
too
story.
socially awkward. There was something similar-ish, nowhere near as bad, that happened to me recently where I was hosting an awards and someone came up and they were given like a speech about someone who had won like the big award of the night, and it was very emotional, and I kind of, patted them on the back to say, like, to be emotionally supportive.
Yeah.
And they grabbed my hand to say thank you.
Oh.
But then neither of us let go. I didn't know this person.
Well, I'm going home with this person.
And we both then, we were still on the stage. The person came up to accept the award. And for the duration of us being on stage and them giving a speech, we held hands. And we were just standing,
Swinging.
holding hands. And I thought, are they going to let go? Because I don't want to be rude and I don't want to let go.
Yeah.
And I've never met this person. And we are on stage holding hands. And just stand there holding hands. And I was like, this is the most bizarre.
Just giving the hand a wee kiss. Just
I was like, I think you're doing great, sweetie. I was like, I'm here now. I can't. And
you don't want to offend someone by letting go.
Absolutely. And we only stopped holding hands when they left the stage. So we must have been holding hands 10, 15 minutes.
Oh no, that's too long.
I know.
That's too long. I don't hold hands with anyone for that. Like, not even a child.
Neither would I. But apparently I will with a stranger. Do you know what I mean? It was real. I was dying. And I was still trying to host at this time. So I was holding their hands saying, and could you make your way up to the stage now for your... to get your award, and would you like to say a few words? And I was like thinking, I can't move because I have to hold their hand. Yeah,
love. I need to play the guitar. Get off.
Absolutely.
Oh my
so
God.
embarrassing.
So, do you have many embarrassing stories, Emer?
I probably do. My life is an embarrassing story, and one of the main embarrassing stories that I have that I've always been haunted from childhood is about a pee alarm.
A pee alarm.
A pee alarm. Yes. So whenever I was a kid, I used to pee the bed like lots of kids.
Yes.
But I pee the bed for a long time. So
now, do you mean a heavy stream or
both
until an
both.
older age?
Both. Okay.
Are you doing it right now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I just peed the bed all the time.
Okay.
Would go to sleepovers if I ever stayed in a relative's. I peed the bed. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But obviously people kept being like, why are you still peeing
Just
the bed?
stop.
And I was like, I'm asleep. What do you mean?
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And like my mum tried all these tactics, God help her, because so my mum was a teacher, so she was having to get up and go to work, but there were 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So like the rest were all in their beds, fine. But I would pee the bed. My mum would come in the night to get me up to the toilet, but I'd already peed the bed.
Yeah.
So she would go down and put me in the bath and change my bed. If it was me, if it was my child, I'd be like, you may lie there in your own piss.
Poor mother.
So she would get me down, she'd put me in the bath and bath me, change my bed, put me back to bed. This is a woman with a full-time job and 4 kids.
And as a teacher, no less. Jesus.
Absolutely. And she'd come back again, maybe 6 in the morning, and I'd have peed the bed again. She'd take me out and she'd bath me, she'd put back to bed.
I thought you were going to say she would just put you in the bath. It's like, you can sleep in there.
No, I should have. You can piss
over
in there
a
all you
drain.
want. I know. So my poor mum, I feel terrible about that. So she
God.
tried all these tactics
Yeah.
to get me to stop peeing the bed. And one of the things was I wasn't allowed to drink after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I am perpetually thirsty. I'm thirsty all the time. So then, like, I think it worked maybe one night.
Yeah.
But then when I was
You're all
younger,
shriveled. Like,
I know, when I was younger, I've mentioned the autism lobes, but because I was such a fussy eater, I didn't eat much. All I wanted to do all day, every day was drink milk. So I was like starving in bed because I wasn't allowed to have milk after 6.
Yeah.
So I'd be in my bed and I'd wait till everyone fell asleep. And then I would go down and I would sneak milk and I would drink it out of the carton so there wouldn't be a glass in the sink. So I started to pee the bed again because I was drinking like a pint of milk every night. I don't know where it's at like 2 a.m. She tried all these things, didn't work. And then she finally brought me to the doctor and she was like, there's something wrong with her. Like she was pissing the bed like over and over again. And that was fine. And I had to go see then they sent me some specialist nurse, and she was like, right, let's talk about this. Why are you wetting the bed? And I was like, if I knew why I was wetting the bed, I wouldn't be wetting the bed.
Yeah.
So she was saying, oh, we're going to have to give you injections into your bladder and they're horrendous.
Is this the specialist nurse?
Yeah, this is a nurse. Yeah. And here's me.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I might piss myself right now. I'm so afraid.
Yeah.
So then she got out these charts. I don't know if anyone else had this trauma. She got out these charts and she said, you're going to come back to me in 1 month. And any night, so it was 30 days on the chart, any night that you don't pee the bed, you put a green sticker on the chart with a cat's face saying, woohoo, right? And if you do pee the bed, you put a blue sticker on the chart with a cat's face saying, whoopsie. Right?
And what was the cat representing, Emer?
Well, that's what I would like to know. I really took great umbrage.
Carry on.
And I was too young to realise that. And,
Yes.
and I took, like, I was really
But
like...
that's really, that does imply this is an effort-based task, like do better.
Yeah, like you're doing this on purpose.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're
I
getting
am
detention.
asleep.
Yeah.
So I had to do that. And I was so confused about the cats. And I kept saying, but why would a cat care if I peed myself? Why would a cat care if I peed the bed? And I was like, cats piss everywhere.
Very distracting.
Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't understand. So anyway, she sent me away and I came back the next month and it was blue. It was, every sticker was blue. And she was like really disappointed in me. And I was like, this is really affecting my confidence.
Yeah.
And she was like, you don't want to be still wetting. I was in P7. She was like, you don't want to be still wetting yourself when you go to big school. And I was like, why will I be sleeping at big school? Like, are they going to know that I'm peeing the bed? Like, why would that matter if I'm at big school?
Can I see your certificates, please? Nurse?
Exactly. Did you go to university? So then she was like, we've no options. We have to introduce the pee alarm. And I was like, what? So she gave me this box, this electronic box, and attached to it was this massive lead with electrodes at the end.
Right.
And she said to me, you need to wear this when you sleep. And I was like, where? What do you mean? So the electrode end, she said, you need to put that into your pants.
Right.
And I was like, right. So I went to bed that night with this pee alarm, and she was like, what's going to happen is this, when you start to pee and the thing gets wet, I assume she meant with pee. She didn't clarify. She said that whenever it gets wet, it will, a gentle alarm will go off and it'll wake you out of your sleep and you'll go to the toilet and then that'll train you over time. Then you'll stop wetting yourself. And I was like really hopeful and I was like, great, okay. And I went home that night and I put it at, first of all, the abuse my siblings gave me for this pee alarm. And do you know what was the weirdest thing that I've just remembered that I've never remembered before this moment? Do you know where we kept it? Do you remember like your parents used to have like Delft canisters where the birthday candles would be kept? That's where my pee alarm was kept.
Like down in the kitchen?
Yes.
Oh my
pee alarm that I put in was kept in the kitchen with the birthday candles that were reused every single year.
No.
How weird is that? That just came to me. But anyway, so the first night I went to bed, put the pee alarm into my underwear and fell asleep. And like supposedly it was supposed to gently, it went off like a fire alarm and it woke up the entire house just to let the entire house know that I'd pissed myself. So that was the only thing the pee alarm did.
Yeah.
It made me get bullied.
Just like,
and I am the heaviest sleeper in the world. So it woke everyone else up just to alert them to the fact, oh, Emer's pissed herself again.
Yeah.
And it never stopped me peeing the bed.
No.
I know. It didn't work. I mean, I don't pee with the bed now anymore.
And it never worked to this day.
But it was a really embarrassing time for me. And my siblings still bring it up all the time. And I just thought, like, that nurse, I'd love.
What a bitch.
I know. I'd love to.
I love that she pretended she'd loads of options. First up, she had two things. First of all, do try better. And second of all, stick that in your pants and electrocute yourself.
Well, that's why I was terrified.
Yeah.
And also, like, it had a massive long wire. I could have wrapped around my neck. Do you know what I mean? I could have cut off.
That's very, like, nowadays you'd think it would be like Bluetooth or something. It's not going to be.
It's very barbaric.
On your phone as well.
And it's very like Pavlov's dogs or something. Do you know what I mean? And also, the fact that she said to me, a gentle alarm. I swear to God, this thing nearly gave me a heart attack, and it woke up the entire house. It was like a fire alarm.
Oh my God.
And it was like
everybody
mocking.
get out.
Get out, get out. I know, it was mocking. It was terrible. So that's my embarrassing story.
That was embarrassing. And it's not that I don't like
But
hearing
I don't pee
embarrassing
myself
stories.
anymore.
No, I'm glad. What I would have been doing is, if that alarm had gone off, I would have fired it over to my siblings' bed and been like, that was you.
That was you, peed yourself.
That wasn't me.
Do you know what my sister always used to say, which is so weird? It was like a really weird brag. She was like, I only ever wet myself once, Emer, and it was when I was a baby. So whenever I was going through this horror and I was
Is this your older sister?
Yeah, I was in pee rehab. She was like, I only ever wet myself once and it was as a baby.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to when you're a baby. That is not a
And I was
brag.
like, you only wet yourself once as a baby? I was like, you should get checked
There's
out.
something wrong with you.
You have retention. There's something wrong with you. I know. So that was her humble brag.
Oh my goodness me.
I know.
But it's all better now. That's the main thing.
It's all better now. I don't know how I stopped.
It was just, you do
trauma.
hear people say you grew out of it. It's those sorts of things that people grew out of,
And
whatever that
I
means.
was late because of my issues. I was late. And I read a thing recently to say that autistic people are in domestic things and all that. They're usually about 8 years behind. So I think I was
really?
Yeah. So I think I was just late.
8 years behind in terms of...
So say, for example, things that are related to looking after themselves.
Oh, okay.
So I would assume peeing in the bed is kind of
Yeah,
related
it's
to
up
that. Do you know
there.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's still things I'm waiting. Like I can't tie my laces, or I can't cook, or like there's loads of things I still can't do.
Are some of those things maybe just a wee bit of an excuse now, Emer? I'm
No,
not trying to be...
Teresa, I was sitting in the
can't
house.
cook.
I was sitting in the house starving to death. I live by myself. So, like, I don't like I have anybody to cook for me. So there's loads of things I still can't do.
No, like I am joking, but I didn't know that about laces, about tying laces.
Oh yeah, because
Is
it's
that quite...
a spatial awareness type thing.
Right.
So I can't do my left and right.
Yeah.
So it's tying laces is the same thing. I think that's why I can't read music as well.
Interesting.
Because it's like a spatial awareness kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Because there's something funny about reading music where it's not quite... Eventually it gets to the stage where you're not even really reading it anymore. You're just...
It's just automatic. Is it
it's
like a
you're
language?
it's almost like... Yeah, it's like that. You're not looking at individual letters or words as such. You're just...
See, I can't, because I can't kind of differentiate which lines they're on or which way they even are.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like people used to say to me, so say the left and right thing, and I know lots of people can't tell their left and right, but if they think about it for a minute, they know which is which.
Yeah.
Whereas if I think, people will be like, just look at your two things because there's an L, and I'm like, there's an L in both of those. Like I can't see the difference. And I remember I was on, like, it does affect things. Like my first ever driving lesson, I had written L and R on my thing, so I was so worried about getting it wrong. And I came up to this like roundabout, and my driving instructor was like, right, I want you to go right at the roundabout. And I was like, okay, well, I've written right on my right hand, so that and I was like, so I was so caught up in that I wasn't thinking about anything else. And he was like, you're gonna go right. And I was like, you sure you want me to go right at the roundabout? And he was like, yeah, you go right at the roundabout. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. So I got to the roundabout and I turned right into the oncoming traffic because I did not, because I'm also very literal.
Yes.
So when he said right at the roundabout, and I was so focused on which way's left,
Just
which way's
into
right,
traffic?
I went straight into traffic.
Oh my
Do you know what I mean?
God.
And he obviously nearly died.
Did you
literally.
pass?
No, it was my first lesson.
Oh, that was your first lesson.
Jesus,
Oh,
did I pass? No, did I pass?
God love you.
I know. So there's all those kind of things
Yeah,
that are.
yeah.
So you're very behind in those kind of things. You're
Yes.
behind in, like, I didn't eat for a long time when I was wee. I ate like cigarette butts and stones and paper off the walls, and so you're behind in all those kind of normal skills.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Whenever I was, that's really fascinating. I didn't know, there was a lot of that I didn't know. When I have no excuse here, but when I was learning to drive, I'd learned to drive mainly up in Donegal, right, which doesn't
Well, you do
prepare
have an
you.
excuse because there's hardly roads.
So there was
Mario
no left
Kart?
or right side of the
Yeah.
road most of the time. I was
It's just the road.
And the first time I was actually driving in traffic was in Letterkenny. So this is the first time
Wild
I'd
bad
encountered
traffic in Letterkenny.
streets and stuff.
Horrendous traffic.
And my mum, the car was parked and my mum got into the car with me, and this was like probably the last time she ever did a driving lesson with me because she was just, her nerves were shot. And she got into the car and we were on the right-hand side of the road and I needed to pull out into traffic. And she said, right, it's quite tight here, so just make sure you get the wheels turned round before you go. So I had turned them all the way around. Like the wheels were now like at a right angle to the car. So I was sitting like this, shitting myself trying to come out in traffic, and she was kind of looking at traffic. She went, right, you're okay to go now. And I just floored it and went and just came out straight across the traffic,
Oh my
hit
God.
the curb on the other side of the street, thought I was putting my foot on the brake, but I wasn't. I was putting my foot on the accelerator.
Oh.
So what the pedestrian saw was me hit a curb and then spend 5 minutes going, hurm, got up onto the pavement and then smashed into a wall. So they were all just like, she had plenty of time for that not to happen. Like several opportunities for you to not smash into that wall. And my mum was just like losing her mind. She was like,
I'm sure she was.
oh my god! Like
How could
before
this
that,
get worse?
before that, anytime she used to take me for driving lessons, she didn't ever want to freak me out. So she used to just pretend she was fixing her hair a lot. So she'd just go, Jesus, and just like run her hands through her hair, just constantly. And she was just like, Teresa, that's it. No, your father's taking you out now. It's not me. But I was taking it quite literally. I was like, turn it all the way to the right. Okay, I'll do that.
But that's when you don't know what you don't know. Do you know what I mean? And
You have to drive into oncoming traffic.
Exactly. At least once. I remember the day my brother passed his test, and I'd brought him out, and we had looked at cars, and I did his test drive in his car, and it was like a wee Vauxhall Aguila or Aguila or whatever. It was like a wee granny car, and then he passed his test, and he came to pick me up, and of course he was being all like, "Oh, I've just passed my test, be in class." Came up, smashed into the curb. I got he was like, "Get in, bitch!" I got in, and he was like, "Let's go to Burger King." So we went into Burger King, and he smashed into the bollard on the way around. And I just thought, those are the type of things. Yeah, and even my sister, when she got her test, me and my girlfriend at the time, she was like, "I'll take you out a spin," 'cause she was older than us, and she got into her car and reversed straight back out of my parents' driveway, but she was trying to be all class and all. She was like, and she went straight back into the wall, took the bumper off. And we
Just
were like,
hand your license back.
"Don't worry about it. It's all right."
Yeah, I know.
But you don't learn to drive until you're actually
That's right.
out in the road. Nobody knows. Whenever people pass their test, you don't know how to drive.
No.
Not one bit.
And you do, like, you're instantly like 10 and 2. I don't think so. It's like wind the window down.
Absolutely.
Elbow out the window.
I was doing I've been doing trailer lessons.
Right.
Because I have a camping trailer. If you're under a certain age,
yeah.
you need a license for it. So it's this guy he's from somewhere in the south. Takes me for it. He literally, I am like driving like this, so like one hand there and like my other arm out the window. And
Is that part of the training?
Yeah, my car now is automatic. So like I'm not thinking about, whereas his is manual.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I swear to God, I'm going to cable tie your hand to that wheel." Because he's like, 2 hands on the wheel, automatic fail. And I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just like,
I'm just too cool. I'm
I
too relaxed.
I know. I can't do it.
Right. Well, Emer, you have got some big shows coming up in the Grand Opera House.
I do.
So, where? Well, I suppose people can get tickets on the Grand Opera. I was going to say, where can people get tickets? Grand Opera House. Anything else coming up that's
I think
we should be aware of?
When's this coming out?
Probably next week.
I think there is there's about 5 tickets left for the Grand Opera House. Literally
Right.
about 5. So yeah, there's not many for it.
Okay.
There are tickets. It's not all actually.
Have a wee look.
I don't have my phone over there. Next week, hopefully, whenever this is coming out, we're putting out tickets for a few other places. There's tickets for Flowerfield Arts Centre, which is up the north coast, so they're out already. But we're going to be putting out tickets for, I think, Derry, Strabane, Armagh, Portico.
So you're doing a tour?
A few other places as well. Yeah.
Cool.
So doing a tour. So we're waiting to see. We want to see how the Opera House did, because I've not done a gig that big before.
Mm-hmm.
But the tickets for it sold, like, a lot of them were gone like pretty early on.
Brilliant.
My mum must be
Must be
well
nice.
into her overdraft. You know what I mean? So I don't know how that's happened, but because you know when you put out a show and I'm like, nobody's going to come,
Yeah.
and the guys are like, "What about a show here?" And I'm like, nobody's going to come. This is going to be really embarrassing. It's going to be me and my man.
But you do no, and it hasn't been for you, because you do have you have got a big audience, like you say that.
I think I have a very
You have
invested
found.
audience.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a massive, I have a decent following stuff online, but not massive at all in any way. It's pretty small, but the people who follow me are very invested.
Yeah.
So when they come to one thing, they come to everything.
Yeah.
Which is actually really nice. And
Yeah.
which is probably better.
Absolutely.
And they're genuinely like, they're very invested. Like, because I have a song about girls' night, and like people keep coming up to me, and kids like quoting words out of it, and I'm like, and they're like, this is our song every night we're getting ready, or
Yeah.
Mummy lets me listen to this and blah blah, and I'm like, that's probably not that appropriate, but like I think the thing is that they're invested more than it's like a quality over quantity thing.
Yes.
which is nice, is nice, which I would probably rather have.
Definitely.
So yeah, but it's just lucky, because like a few years ago, like I was doing like wee small shows, and I remember I was doing things and like obviously doing things, not getting paid, and booking wee small venues, and like nobody would buy tickets, and I'd have to buy a ticket for my brother for him to come. So I would be doing a 2-hour show to my brother. It's like we were 8 again.
And
I was like,
paying
watch
for him
me
to be there.
perform and me paying him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and he would just be like, after everybody was like, can I go home yet? So
Sounding
like
the pay alarm at the back.
time's up, get off. So yeah, it is good because I know what it's like whenever nobody comes, nobody turns up. So I'm glad that people are now.
Brilliant.
And I think if you keep writing stuff that you think's good, people will eventually come.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well, everybody, when those tickets come out, hopefully they're out by the time this goes out.
They will be,
Grab
yeah.
the tickets because they go fast.
Please do.
And thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks very much, Teresa. That was fun.